Recently, I've been scrolling through the Steam store and found out a pretty cool little first-person shooter called Battle Teams 2, and I'm sure most of you guys never even heard about this game until now. Alright, even though the game was released way back in 2022, it is actually my first time checking out this game, and I gotta say guys, the game was actually pretty fun to play, with a lot of fun game modes including a single player co-op game mode as well as typical multiplayer modes. And on top of all that, the game can actually run on a low-end potato system, so if you're a low-end PC gamer, this could be your next favorite first-person shooter. So let's talk all about it. Alright, for those who haven't heard about the game yet, it's a fast-paced multiplayer first-person shooter, pretty similar to most of the other free-to-play shooters out there on Steam. The game has very typical multiplayer game modes that we all used to play, like Team Deathmatch, Bomb Defusal, but I would say the definite highlight for me is the single-player / co-op game mode, which is actually really fun to play and remind me of some of the classic Zombies game mode from Call of Duty Black Ops era. It's definitely not the most popular or the most well-received title when it comes to free-to-play shooters on Steam. If you're looking for a much more unique first-person shooter experience, a game like Finals would be ideal, but Team Battle 2 is a much more of a generic first-person shooter that we all used to play. Pretty fun, pretty fast-paced arcade multiplayer shooter, packed with tons of cool game modes and other features which we'll discuss about in a minute. And as I previously mentioned, the game is completely free to play. You can download right now on Steam, and right now the game is having around 2,000 daily concurrent players, which is pretty acceptable for a free-to-play game. Even though the game was released back in 2022, the game was available only for the Chinese player base for the majority of time. A lot of people calling it the Chinese Call of Duty, but I'm happy to say the game is finally available globally. Yes, about a week ago they released a global launch, so if you're a new player, now is probably the best time to jump back into the game. Alright, first of all, I'm going to start with talking about some of the positive things about the game, starting with the game modes. There's actually a pretty good amount of fun game modes in the game, but I unfortunately haven't had the chance to jump back into every single one. First of all, we got the classic game modes, which include both Team Deathmatch, Bomb Defusal, and an Infected game mode similar to Call of Duty games. Team Deathmatch are pretty self-explanatory, and there's also a great collection of maps in the game right now, and overall visually the game looks very impressive, but I'm not the biggest fan when it comes to some of the map layout, especially in the Team Deathmatch. They are pretty basic, but definitely get the job done. Pretty fun to play overall, and also some of the maps have like special modes like low gravity, which is also pretty fun to play around. Bomb Defusal game mode is also here, which is probably the most popular game mode, and it's basically 5v5 search and destroy style of a game mode. And we also got completely different set of maps for this game mode, which is really cool. And among those maps, we got kind of a knockoff version of Dust 2 map from Counter-Strike 2, which I had really fun time playing, and it usually plays out completely differently to Counter-Strike, especially with those anime characters running around and funny weapon mechanics. And we also got a game mode called Infected. Unfortunately, I couldn't get into a game even though I tried so many times, which is a bit unfortunate, but on top of all that, we also got a rank mode where you have to level up your account to a certain level to participate, and which include both Team Deathmatch and 5v5 Bomb Defusal. There's also a fun little game mode called Big Head, where every character is running around with a big hit and you simply have to shoot it to damage and get kills. This is pretty fun to play. There's also a separate Battle Royale mode, but unfortunately it's limited to a certain time of the day. I tried to queue up for a game 2 days in a row. I waited like 10 minutes, but I still couldn't get into a game. I don't know anyone playing this game mode, or maybe something issues with the servers. So as far as I can say, the Battle Royale mode is not working right now. And finally, I have to mention a really fun single player / kind of co-op game mode called Infestation. This is very similar to Zombies mode in Call of Duty, where you can either play solo or you can queue up with 2 other players and progress through the storyline by completing objectives, meanwhile fighting against hordes of enemies and bosses, which is extremely fun to play. And during each round you have to complete certain amount of tasks and ultimately reward you with some in-game currency and weapon skins which you can use in other game modes. Overall, I feel like this game mode is much more unique and extremely fun to play, especially if you got a bunch of friends to play alongside with you. And also if you're looking for like a free-to-play alternative to Call of Duty Zombies mode, this game is definitely made for you. And we also got different characters with unique abilities, and these abilities are definitely not prominent. At least in the multiplayer mode, you cannot activate any abilities. They're just a bunch of anime characters running around in the map, and I feel like they add this stuff into the game mainly because they wanted to sell bundles and cosmetic items for them. And I personally don't think these characters does not add any value to the game, especially when it comes to gameplay. And some of these characters can be unlocked just by using the in-game credits or using the battle pass or different bundles. And and also you can customize their skins, emotes, voices, paints, and other sort of stuff. So the game is kind of always promoting you to buy these microtransactions, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But on the other hand, there's a great variety when it comes to weapons, including assault rifles, marksman rifles, sniper rifles, SMGs, LMGs, and also shotguns and handguns. So there's a great variety, and also most of them can be unlocked just by playing the game and earning the most common in-game currency, which is called silver, and simply go to the store and buy whatever weapon you like. And also using the same currency, you can upgrade them, unlock different attachments, and make custom loadouts. But as a free-to-play player, there is a bit of a grind to unlock all these weapons and attachments, which cost you tons of silver. So as I previously mentioned, the game is always promoting you to buy those microtransactions, and they have a subscription model called BT Plus, which is like a subscription model similar to like Netflix, I would say, and it will ultimately give you a bunch of in-game rewards. And if you have the subscription, you can buy all of these weapons with significantly less amount of silver, which ultimately cut down the grind and make the game a little bit more pay to win, which I feel like one of the reasons why a lot of people are complaining about the game, especially on the Steam reviews, mentioning this game is heavily monetized, which I have to agree upon. And also as a free-to-play player, you can customize up to 3 different loadouts, but if you have the subscription, you can customize up to 5 different loadouts, so you clearly have a benefit. But the one thing that I feel like really annoying is that you have to buy all the gadgets like grenades, smokes, and flashbang using the in-game store, using the in-game currency. But once you buy that, you can only use that with one of your loadouts, and if you use grenades with the other 2 loadouts, you simply have to go to the store and buy grenades again and again, which is extremely annoying and kind of stupid, and I haven't seen any other free-to-play shooter does that. But to be fair, at the beginning the game allows you to access some of the important weapons in the game, and you can simply unlock them by completing daily visions, daily logins, or in-game events. So finally, I gotta say, even though the game is heavily monetized, I didn't feel like I have a competitive disadvantage against any other players, and most of the game modes are extremely fun to play and very easy, especially if you get some sort of experience in first-person shooters. And I also feel like, especially in the first few games, the game let you play with a mix of AI soldiers and real players, which also gives you a nice balance between a challenge and a fun aspect of the game, especially if you are just starting out as a beginner. So ultimately, let's answer the question, is it worth playing this game right now in 2024? So my answer is actually kind of 50-50. If you're looking for the best free-to-play shooters out there, there's a lot better options out there on Steam. The games like Finals, Halo Infinite, or some of the less popular games like Polygon, or even the games like Shatterline give you a much better experience, I would say. But if you can forget about all the negative things that I said about the game, especially when it comes to heavy monetization, overall I would say the game is extremely fun to play with a lot of fun game modes, including both single player, multiplayer, as well as co-op, and it is completely free to play. You can download and give it a try. There is no harm in trying it out, and especially if you are a low-end PC gamer in 2024, there is not a lot of option when it comes to good free-to-play shooter games, so you might as well give it a try and share your experience down in the comment section. And as I previously mentioned, the system requirements are very much acceptable. You only need to have an i3 CPU, 4 gigs of RAM, and some pretty low-end Nvidia graphics, which is less capable than some of the integrated graphics nowadays. And also the download size is a bit high on this game. It's close to like 30 gigs, which is like downloading PUBG, Valorant, or something like Fortnite. So if you have the capable internet system to download and give it a try, definitely go ahead and do so, and definitely share your experience down in the comment section as well. So finally guys, as always, if you enjoyed the video so far, please go ahead and drop a like on the video, and also subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 50,000 subscribers. I'll catch you guys soon in my next video. Stay safe.